Salam, salam. Jambo, jambo. Jambo America, jambo Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this magnificent sanctuary. We appreciate your time. Thank you for attending this African culture. Culture can be defined as an integrated pattern of human knowledge and behavior that depend upon the capacity of learning and transmitting knowledge to succeeding generation. I would like to start by this anecdote. At a very young age, my daughter had been told in Asia an unusual story by a friend. They said everyone was created by God, but what made us with different skins? Humans are like bread baked by God. God starts by Caucasian. He made a mistake by removing the bread too early. That's why white people are too white. And later on, God said, I need more time. And he put African people in the oven. It took too much time. And because God forgot to take them out from oven on time, they burn. That's why they have black skin. And finally, based on these two former mistakes, God with a good foundation, with good experience, it took him the time to make the best bread, the brown bread, the perfect bread. God created Asian people. Years later on, someone told me the same story. I replied, I do not like such a joke for two reasons. First of all, because it's a racist joke, and secondly, because this puts into doubt the perfection and the absolutism of God. And the second story, my professor of unification talked when we were eating together in the restaurant. He told me that in Asian culture, when people eat, they use chopstick, embrace the rice, and with the spoon, gracefully, they lift up the soup. In Western culture, however, when eating, they use fork to stab the creation and use the knife to kill the creation. This is a conflict of civilization. What is the best culture? Before answering this question, we need to understand the purpose of creation. Before building a house or make a car, we need a blueprint. By the same token, before the creation of the universe, God had a blueprint. God wanted mankind to become his representative in the creation by reflecting his heart through culture. Therefore, the best culture is the culture of heart. And Father Moon explained to us that we have to build a universal culture of heart. And he called this Shimjong Munha. Shimjong Munha. We have to build a universal culture. Consequently, humility and harmony of culture is needed to express the image and the heart of God. Culture is an expression of God's heart in human activities of intellect, emotion, and will. We pursue the value of truth, beauty, and goodness and tolerance. What makes America a great nation? America has been known as the melting pot where all people of all races, nations, and culture are melted into one breed. In fact, in America, we feel at home. And when you feel at home, you are able to invest your intellect, your emotion, your strength, your energy, your money, your blood, your heart, and even your soul. That's why America win the Olympic Games. That's why America is a great nation. Each individual culture is a particular embodiment of the universal image of God, so that each culture has both individuality and universality, and there should be unity between individuality and universality. Unfortunately, the human fall happened at the dawn of the human history because of lack of humility, which means our failure to inherit the heart of God. This failure takes different forms in our cultural activities. First, hatred and murder because of difference of culture. Secondly, even those who claim to know God hate each other because of difference of culture. Even more severely than non-believers, Christians and Muslims are fighting. Jews and Christians are fighting. Hindus and Muslims are killing each other in Asia. And worse, Christians are fighting against Christians. The culture takes the form of totalitarianism. This happens when one particular culture dogmatically believes itself to be far more superior to other culture, at the point to force other culture to be assimilated into it or to be destroyed. The best example is the pan-Germanism of the Nazi regime. In the modern day, the Western culture have a tendency to destroy the Oriental and the African culture. That is why people are depressed and suffering. The difference of culture do not mean that you are not civilized. The best culture is the one which reflects the nature of God. Unfortunately, this heavenly tradition has disappeared because of the invasion of the Western civilization. And our responsibility, I Tribal Messiah, is to bring in our hometown this precious gift that means the culture of heart. The failure of culture today is expressed through the corruption of culture. There is no more humility. People through their culture are trying simply to defy the heart of God by destroying his plan of creating ideal family centered on true love. Thus they attempt to destroy tradition value such as chastity, encouraging free sex, profanity, and decadence. This is reflected in their cultural activities. This is rampant in magazines, movies, photos, art, lifestyle, etc. This day, the internet is very much invaded by obscene pornography and spread all over the world. And this is transmitted to children from generation to generation. As far as God's heart is absent in culture, God too is absent in culture. To the degree that God is absent, Satan is actively present, to use the religious terminology. That is why people are depressed and suffering. They have everything except love. The Wall Street Journal made a survey and discovered that 18% of Americans suffer from depression. And they went to Africa in Lagos and did exactly the same survey. And they were shocked to discover that less than 1% have depression. And this reminds me the Beatitude, the sermon of Jesus on the mountain. Blessed are the poor. Blessed those who are crying. Why are people in Africa? There are people in Africa who are sleeping on mats. They are sleeping on the floor. But in the morning, they are grateful that they can see a new light. They can see a new day. Even if God gave to African people a bowl of rice with salt, they are grateful to God. In Africa, there is no such thing as babysitting. You just drop off your child and your neighbor without informing him. If you run out of salt, you can easily go to your neighbor in his kitchen without any permission because it's normal to take the salt in the kitchen and if you discover that there's no salt, why don't you may say that, what does this woman done by salt? The former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you inferior until yourself you contribute to become inferior. Jesus, in the 10 Commandments, Jesus summarized the 10 Commandments in 2 statements: love God, love your neighbor like you love yourself. Unfortunately, African people, they love God, they love their neighbor, maybe, but they don't love themselves because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their culture. But Father Moon believes in Africa, and he has a great vision for African people. So, I would like to read a statement from Rev Moon, who said, he really understands African people culture by saying, very soon, the time will come when those black people who worship God will have a chance to receive great blessing, with the condition that they are submissive to God, to goodness, and entirely loyal to God. If black are not lazy and they worship God, then they have hope. God has to work through the restoration providence, and the reason why what people have been dominate the world in the past is because they had Christianity. Without Christianity, there will be nothing. Black people shouldn't become discouraged and disappointed because they have a great hope ahead. I'm not implying that one is superior or inferior, but I'm interested in the kind of tradition each race has, the kind of history that determines the inferiority or superiority. If the great enemy of the Western culture is freedom, the great enemy of Africa is division. We have good culture in Africa, but unity is the key. We have to put together our culture and bring our culture to the world. I was watching a television program in Geographic National Channel. First, they show a battle between a lion and a tiger. Obviously, the lion, the king of the forest, won easily the battle by defeating the tiger. Then they show, followed by this, 5 lions versus 5 tigers. Who do you think won this battle? Surprisingly, the tigers won the battle and the 5 lions ran away. Why? What did I learn from this? When tigers come to fight together, they fight against the enemy. They fight cooperatively as a group, whereas lion fight to defend only itself. When we work with a group, we must work to fulfill the need of the group, to fulfill the will of the goal of the creation. If each member, each child of God works simply to fulfill the individual goal, then the group will fail. Dear brother and sister, today night is a night of hope. African people must believe in themselves and live in harmony with other culture. Through Father Moon's words, we understand that God wants to put diamonds in your hand. God wants to put diamonds in our hands. But if our hands are full of stone, what are you going to do? Please think about it tonight. There is no hope. May God bless you. May God bless America. May God bless Africa. May God bless you, brother and sister, on earth and forever in heaven. Thank you very much.